The year is 862 AD, and in the cold northern reaches of what will one day be Russia, the Slavic tribes are in chaos. They've been fighting, warring, and struggling to govern themselves. Desperate for stability, they send out a call for help, turning to none other than Viking warriors. Yes, you heard that right, Vikings. Prince Rurik, a fierce and legendary Varangian chieftain. He sails down from the north with his band of Vikings and takes control of the land, establishing his capital in Novgorod. This is where the story of Kievan Rus begins, the first incarnation of what we now know as Russia. Rurik's descendants build a powerful state centered in Kiev, a thriving hub of trade and culture. But it's not just about politics. Something far more significant happens that will shape Russian identity forever. In 988 AD, Vladimir the Great makes a life-changing decision. After exploring the world's religions, he chooses to convert to Eastern Orthodox Christianity, and not just himself. He converts his entire kingdom. Thousands of people are baptized in the Dnieper River, and Christianity sweeps through the land. The adoption of Byzantine culture, religion, art, and law marks the birth of Russian Orthodox Christianity and cements the connection between Kievan Rus and the Eastern Christian world. But then, disaster strikes. Fast forward to the early 1200s. A terrifying horde of Mongol warriors under Batu Khan, a grandson of the infamous Genghis Khan, crashes into Kievan Rus. Cities are burned, people slaughtered, and the mighty Kiev falls in 1240. The Mongols establish the Golden Horde, and for over 2 centuries, Russian princes are forced to pay tribute to their Mongol overlords. But amidst the darkness, one small principality begins to rise: Moscow. Yes, Moscow. At first, it's just a tiny city, overshadowed by greater powers. But Moscow's rulers, especially Ivan I, know how to play the game. They use their position as tribute collectors for the Mongols to grow rich and powerful. Moscow becomes the center of Russian power, and by the time Ivan III, known as Ivan the Great, comes to the throne in the 15th century, Russia is ready to make its move. In 1480, Ivan the Great makes a bold stand. He refuses to pay tribute to the Mongols, declaring that Russia will no longer bow to foreign rulers. With that one defiant act, Ivan ends the Mongol yoke over Russia, and from that moment on, Moscow emerges as the heart of a new, stronger Russian state. And then, things get even more intense. Enter Ivan IV, better known as Ivan the Terrible. The first ruler to officially take the title of Tsar of all Russia, Ivan starts strong, reforming the military, expanding Russian territory, and building the famous St. Basil's Cathedral. But soon, paranoia and cruelty consume him. Ivan establishes the Oprichnina, a secret police force that terrorizes the land, executing and torturing anyone he sees as a threat. Even his own family isn't safe. He famously kills his own son in a fit of rage. After Ivan's death, Russia spirals into chaos again. Welcome to the time of troubles. It's the early 1600s, and Russia is beset by famine, civil war, and foreign invasions. The country nearly collapses entirely. But from the ashes, a new dynasty emerges, the Romanovs. In 1613, Michael Romanov is elected Tsar, and the Romanov dynasty begins. They will rule Russia for over 300 years. Now, fast forward to the late 17th century. Here comes Peter the Great, a towering figure quite literally, as he stood over 6 feet 8 inches tall. Peter is a visionary, but also a force of nature. Obsessed with the idea of transforming Russia into a modern European power, Peter embarks on a whirlwind tour of Western Europe. When he returns, he brings with him revolutionary changes, new technologies, a powerful navy, and an entirely new city, St. Petersburg. He builds St. Petersburg from the ground up and declares it Russia's new capital, symbolizing Russia's shift towards Europe. And then there's Catherine the Great, one of the most fascinating rulers in Russian history. She's a German princess who marries into the Russian royal family, and after a coup, she seizes the throne for herself. Under her reign, Russia expands even further, taking control of Crimea and parts of Poland. Catherine is a patron of the arts and an Enlightenment thinker, but her reign also entrenches the harsh system of serfdom that will eventually become a ticking time bomb for the Russian Empire. Fast forward to 1812. Napoleon invades Russia, bringing the might of his Grande Armée. But the Russians fight back fiercely, and after a devastating retreat through the Russian winter, Napoleon's army is shattered. Russia emerges victorious and becomes a key player in European politics. However, the Russian Empire is built on a fragile foundation. The Tsars rule with absolute power, and the majority of the population, serfs, live in poverty and oppression. In 1861, Tsar Alexander II attempts to fix this by emancipating the serfs, but it's too little, too late. Social unrest continues to grow, and revolutionary ideas spread like wildfire. By the early 1900s, Russia is on the brink. Nicholas II, the last Romanov Tsar, struggles to hold his empire together as the country faces defeat in the Russo-Japanese War and enters the bloodbath of World War I. Then, in 1917, the storm finally breaks. The February Revolution forces Nicholas to abdicate, ending over 300 years of Romanov rule. But this is only the beginning. Later that year, in the October Revolution, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, seize power. They promise peace, land, and bread to a desperate nation. The Russian Empire crumbles, and from its ashes, the world's first communist state is born, the Soviet Union. This revolution will send shockwaves across the globe, reshaping the 20th century and beyond. From the legendary Viking Prince Rurik to the cataclysmic events of the Russian Revolution, Russia's history is one of ambition, expansion, and revolution. It's a tale of empires rising and falling, of rulers building vast legacies, only to see them crumble into dust. And through it all, the Russian people endure, weathering the storms of history and forging a new future from the remnants of the past.